Pleiadian Master Teachings, Concepts from the Realms of Light. Channeled by Michael Love. Sacred Light Publishing. December 25, 2022. Chapter 6, Space. There is no out there, and the entire universe exists inside you. And quote. The Pleiadians. In our time chapter, we discussed that the only real time is the eternal now moment, and since time and space are two sides of the same coin, space works the same way. In the most sublime and true sense, the only place or space that exists in the universe is right here. There is only one point of space, and it is the space around you that you are conscious of. This, here, space is singular, eternal, still, and does not move or change. There are not two or multiple spaces in the entire universe. There is only one. Think of the word nowhere. Nowhere is a combination of the words now and here, and this now and here, time and space, are the only reality. The reason it is called nowhere is that one cannot go anywhere. This is because there is nowhere to go. To make matters more restrictive, even if one could go somewhere, there is no time to get there. This may all sound a bit strange and philosophical at first. However, even though there is the perception of traveling between 2 points, places, or spaces, regardless of where one thinks they are going, they always remain here, in the only space that exists. Here is the one true reality of space, and this one space exists only where conscious awareness exists. The notion of one single space negates the concepts of distance and travel. There are no 2 points that one can travel between. Though it seems that on an everyday scale, things are found to exist in different places or locations, defined by coordinates and in relation to other things, all separated by distance. Furthermore, it seems that one can indeed travel between these separate things. However, just like everything else in the physical realm, things are never as they seem. The principles of non-locality illustrate that the universe is non-local and that there are no places or spaces other than here. Under the quantum mechanics uncertainty principle, particles lack properties, including precise location prior to measurement. Quantum energy particles that make up all matter can never be found or situated in any specific place because there is no such thing as a specific place. Because these particles of matter lack differentiating attributes, things do not reside at points, and space cannot support any localized structure. Points in space are indistinguishable and interchangeable, and one can no sooner pin down the exact position of a particle than one could plant a flag in the ocean. The principle of non-locality also nullifies the concept of movement. Movement is another misunderstood part of classical physics because the only thing that moves in the universe is the oscillating vibrations of the quantum field, and consciousness is the highest form of this vibration. If there is only one point in space, how could something move away from it to another point? One may be reasonably sure they stood up and walked into the next room. However, if they could look close enough, they would see that no material things moved, only consciousness moved. Imagine a character walking or running into a building in a video game. Is the character moving in reality? This is exactly the way the physical world of matter works. The entire perceived physical realm, including spaces, places, and movements, is a mass of vibrational information projected by and to consciousness holographically. Lastly, the concept of duality and the separateness of anything is destroyed by the law of non-locality. Everything in the universe is intimately connected and entangled. Everything is one, and non-local phenomena are not actions at a distance but the universe displaying its grand oneness. The quantum physics observer effect further illustrates that when a conscious observer isn't conscious of a thing, looking at it, it doesn't exist physically. Let's apply this observer effect to the adjacent room in one's home. It may seem a bit shocking at first. However, the quantum fact is that the next room in one's home that one is not consciously observing is not there, at least until their consciousness changes focus to it. As you will learn in our manifesting chapter, every combination of all things already exists in the quantum field in an energetic waveform, including the adjacent room of your home. These energetic waves are called waves of probability. When a conscious observer focuses on one of these probable energy waves, the adjacent room, in this case, the energetic waveform collapses and is converted into the physical matter of the next room. When consciousness shifts onto or observes the next room, it is manifested holographically and can be perceived instantly. This manifestation of and perceptual shift onto the adjacent room occurs with no time passing. Notice we use the term shift above instead of travel just like in our time chapter because consciousness shifts, it doesn't travel. As strange as it sounds, the people in the other room are also not there and do not show up until you encounter them. You are creating the room and the other people by observing them. This concept goes back to the fact that you are the sole creator of everything on planet Earth and the entire universe, and this is your divine creative power. There are no other people around until you physically observe and manifest them. There has always and only just been you, the one consciousness. One may ask, if I am the only being in the universe, why are so many other people around? The answer is, because it's lonely at the top. You manifested all of them to keep you company. You created this whole thing, and the goal is to see if you can remember how you did it all and to find out what you're really up to. What? we can say for sure is, you are indeed the most advanced being that we know of ! And quad. All the other so-called conscious observing eyes are simply your eyes, and the entire universe is there only when an observer can say, yes, I see the universe out there. And quad. An observer is required for a physical universe to be manifested. The universe and the observer exist as a pair, and as we said, physical existence requires consciousness. Though there is only one point of space, here, just like time, there are infinite parallel versions of the here space, vibrating at different frequencies. These vibrational levels of space are manifested and projected holographically only by a conscious observer, and in fact, space-time itself is solely dependent on conscious awareness. These differently vibrating holographic projections of space are perceived physically as separate and very real, other places, but are all existing right here in the only one space that exists. So, what is real, then? If you mean what is real physically, the answer is anything that consciousness perceives. But if you mean what is real at a more fundamental level, then the answer is only consciousness. The next room in your house is very real, but only when you encounter or manifest it. At that point, the adjacent room becomes the here room. The only reason it looks different than any other room in your home is that the energetic information that makes up the room is different. But what makes the adjacent room in your house really look the way it does, and why does it generally always look the same? Consciousness has its way of making things stick holographically and physically. Since there is only one consciousness ultimately, the collective consciousness, if the builder of your home observed the room in your house, he manifested it first. His observing eyes are the same as yours. He certainly built the room, but this building process is just another form of manifesting, one nail and one board at a time. A deeper rule of manifesting matter is that once a thing is observed, its energetic probability factor increases, and the next observer manifests it similarly. The more observance, the more a thing sticks and hangs around in the holographic physical matrix. The same applies to other towns, other cities, other countries, other planets, or any space in the universe. If one is not observing it, there is no across town or another place, space. These outward physical projections only appear holographically when they come into view of conscious awareness. When one observes each of these vibrational spaces, one manifests them, and they exist as a different vibrational version of the here space. If you notice, when you are there, you are here. And quad. The Pleiadians. Like time, if all differently perceived places or spaces of the universe were on separate movie frames and placed in one stack, the stack would be the one point of space called here. More interestingly, since space and time are ultimately the same, one could place the time and space stack of movie frames in one stack. These movie frames of space and time are all in the now time and here moment stack, which we will call the space-time stack. These movie frames represent reality frames, more commonly called alternate realities or parallel realities. Parallel realities are not to be confused with parallel universes, as this book refers to the one particular universe we find ourselves in at the moment, which is different from other universes. Just as we describe time traveling as shifting vibrationally into other reality frames, shifting through so-called space, even across the galaxy instantly, is accomplished the same way. This shifting to alternate space realities is done in the most simple, automatic, and natural way in every moment of life by simply changing focus to the next room, city, or town. Adjacent space reality frames are nearly identical in composition and may only contain a few bits of quantum information that makes the frame different from its neighboring frames. Therefore, one instantly projects and manifests the external physical world by continuously live streaming reality frames with no gaps between them as one observes them with consciousness. This instant manifesting is the default mode of consciousness for dealing with space, and this mode is active during normal beta waking consciousness. Jumping to a more complex space reality frame where the information that makes up the frame is very different from one's current local space, such as the Alpha Centauri frame, for example, can be easily achieved. One could indeed jump through a stargate or wormhole using technology successfully developed on Earth in the 1940s to teleport to Alpha Centauri. Alternatively, one could do this naturally by simply raising and matching their frequency to the frequency of the desired parallel space reality. These alternate vibrational versions of the here space are entangled with consciousness. Higher consciousness levels can contract space-time, collapsing any parallel space instantly into right here, around you. If you really think about this, you will notice that you would not be traveling anywhere or jumping, for that matter. Again, since space and time are parts of the same whole, use the same procedure we discussed for timeline traveling to shift into the perfect new space. If you want to live in a paradise, then manifest the paradise around you. Teleportation, aka space reality shifting, is a very real and scientific phenomenon, just like time travel, aka time reality shifting, and it can easily be achieved using a higher state of vibrational consciousness. When you become proficient at attaining altered states of consciousness during deep meditation and mastery of the out-of-body experience, you will appear on the profoundly beautiful other worlds in this universe. You will show up because you are the creator of these worlds. Here is always real, wherever you are! ! And quad. The Pleiadians.